Hello everybody, my name is Al DePoalo. I'm the Partner Products Manager, and today I wanted to take a look at a surfacing question that came up. A user has supplied a surface model here, and what they would like to do is to offset this surface. So we can do surface offset, and they want it to go down a certain amount. And when they try to do this, they run into a problem. Now, so I think this is a good file to pick up, and it covers a couple of issues here. The first one, if you are trying to offset a surface, or if you're trying to, you're making a mold or a tool, and you're trying to offset a surface, the surface geometry you're working with has it plays a big role in the effectiveness of that feature. And actually, if you look at this preview here, you can see how this surface is folding under itself. You can see there's some missing sides over here, and basically it's just not going to work for this particular feature. So the first topic I wanted to cover has to do with how do you know it's going down or it's going up? Well, each surface has a normal, and if you go to View, Surface Normal, that will show the surface normal or the direction of that surface. So because this line is sticking up this way, that's the positive direction. So if these surface normals were facing the other way and we said negative, it would go to the inside. In this case, they're sticking up on positive Z, so negative goes to the bottom side. But so that's just a neat little trick there, and you can turn those off at any time. The other thing is why did those surfaces fold under themselves? Well, if we hit S and we hit W on our keyboard, we can see all the UV lines for our surfaces here. And if you look at this particular transition here, you can see that those surface lines, the UV lines, they're not very clean, I guess is one way of looking at them. They're not very consistent. It looks like these surface lines here were made up of a 3-edge surface or something along those lines, which definitely seem to be problematic when the software goes to generate that offset surface. And when I first took the file in and I looked at this myself, before I even tried to offset the surface, I looked at it and it just looked problematic to me. Not to say that you couldn't get a good offset from a better built surface, but I just realized quickly that it was going to be pretty problematic. So what I decided to do was just to rebuild the surface itself. So what I did is I created a new layer and made it active, and then I went to Utilities and Extract Edges, and I just went around the outside of the part, extracting the outermost edges of this part, or of this surface here. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just rebuild this surface using these new edges that I'm creating here. Alright, so I'm going to just go around, and now I have all my surface edges. I'll turn off the original file, original surface layer. I'll add a new layer here. And now I'm going to do a skin for this. Let me turn off my axis indicator, and then we'll do... we'll make it a different color. Alright. Surface skin. So I'll click on here, shift, left click to there. 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 Right click OK. Now I have my new surface. And you can tell this new surface has, when I do my S and my W, you can see that there are very consistent. Here, let me change my background. You can see that there are very consistent. Let me change my background. you can tell that there are very consistent UV lines. You can see they're very nice, equal spacing. They're not real tight together or anything like that. So now that I've done that, if I want to come in here and do an offset, I can do surface, let's see, offset, and follow the same steps, and now you can see it offsets really with no problem, and there you go. Okay, so another question that you might have, even though in this example here, let me get rid of these two. In this example here, you may have, you may feel that there was a need for the transition from here to here, that we needed another group of sections. So what I'm going to do is extract more geometry, and I'll do extract single, and I'll grab these additional curves here and these additional curves here. Okay. So I've added some additional sections, and we'll go ahead and we'll surface it again. We'll do surface, skin. When you're using a skin, you actually can have multiple cross sections. So in this case, we're adding those additional cross sections, and then we'll go ahead and add our sections, or our paths. I always get them confused. But you can see now we were able to surface this with that additional geometry. Now, I'm not sure if there's a little bit of a gap or something, but you can see that there's those lines in there. You can see they're a little heavier. And again, I think that's the blend that we see happening between this one edge and the other. You can see these lines are a little more consistent than the other ones, but it's smaller, and you can see that it's heavier. We can still, or we should still, be able to do our offset surface here. If I needed to use these additional sections, I would, evaluate the geometry and see where I might be able to tweak or nudge or adjust it a little bit. But let's go ahead and do our offset for this now. And you can see that we were able to get our offset surface. You can see that even with that offset, you can see that these surface lines here, I really don't like the way that looks. This darker area here, that's usually a bad indication as well of, maybe the surface folding under itself or what have you. You do have some viewing tools that you can use to adjust this. You can go to part, shading quality. You can turn this up on the part, and sometimes that helps view things a little bit better. But again, this darker area is typically a bad indicator, an indicator that there may be something wrong with that surface or a problem with that surface. But again, the main thing that I wanted to review here had to do with looking at your surfaces and your input geometry, and B, also being able to use additional paths. And probably what this comes down to is, the entities as they go through here. There's probably a small little section there that we don't find here. And more likely than not, that may be what's causing the problem. So what we may be able to do is to put 2 points on that entity there, and let's see if we can break this entity at that point, break that entity at that point. Let's see. And then now that should give us a more even surface as it goes down the line. Technically speaking, we could probably break this all the way down the line as well, so it has the same number of entities from one edge to another. But hopefully you find this information useful, and helpful with dealing with circumstances like this. And stay tuned for more videos. Thank you so much, guys.